Hey, this is Jeff Hughes with Sugar Maple Trading Company. Welcome to our farm and our garden here in beautiful Lexington, Virginia, in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And I am sharing with you tonight something that I am super excited about. It's what I would consider one of the best roses on the market, and maybe one of the best roses that's ever been developed. It's a true unicorn. I mean, there's nothing else like it that I'm aware of anywhere in the marketplace. It's called Rise Up Lilac Days. And Rise Up Lilac Days is what Proven Winners is calling a mini climber, meaning it doesn't get 50 feet tall. It tops out at about 6 to 8 feet, so it's very easy to manage. It only grows about 3 feet wide. And it has some unique things about this rose that you maybe find in one rose. You may find one of these elements in one rose, but to find all of them in the single rose is almost unheard of. So let's go through the first thing. First is scent. And I don't know if y'all have noticed it, but a lot of the modern roses, especially if they're a landscape rose, meaning they're easy to care for, they don't have a scent. You know, most of them, unless you stick your nose right in it, they don't smell like anything. And I miss and love the smell, the true rose smell. When I grew up, my neighbor had a rose garden, and that's what I remembered most, was that smell of roses. And this rose has captured that. Unlike a lot of modern roses, it has been bred to be highly fragrant. And you do not have to stick your nose in this rose in order to get the scent. You can walk by and the scent of it will just fill the air. I'm super excited about these roses that we have. Now, I planted these last year as 1 quart size roses. They were small. This is 1 year's growth. So last spring, these are 1 quart size pots, and you can see what's happened just in 1 season. It is crazy how fast they grow. And you can see how healthy the growth is. And again, almost thornless, which is one of the elements that I wanted to share with you, is that most roses that I'm aware of are heavily thorned, especially if it's a climbing rose, because that's what those thorns are for. They're for the plant to be able to grab hold of trees or structures in order to hold themselves up. But these have been bred not to have thorns. So you've got a really smooth thing. You don't get poked as you work in your rose garden, which is amazing. The scent is great, the thornless is great, but here's the thing that I think you're gonna be most excited about. Gardening in Virginia, it's beautiful and it's green and it's lush, but that's because it rains a lot. It's very humid and hot here in the summer. And roses are, I've almost given up growing roses because they get black spot and powdery mildew so bad that they completely defoliate every summer. And I don't want to plant a plant in my garden that's going to become uglier as the season goes along. I want it to get better, and I don't want to have to babe it. I don't want to have to spray chemicals on it. I want to be able to plant it and then have the plant grow on and give me joy, not give me grief. This rose has been bred to be disease resistant. And I'll tell you a little bit about the breeder here in a little bit. But the intent was that this rose could be planted in your garden, that you never have to worry about black spot or powdery mildew. And I will say that I've not seen any of this. In a year of having these in the ground in my garden, I've not seen any black spot or powdery mildew. So I would say they're highly, highly disease resistant. They just get better looking. So that when they leaf out in the spring, they just get bigger and prettier as the season goes along. So let's talk about the grower. I didn't even know that growers could be superstars or that people even knew who they were. They're always anonymous. But this Rise Up Lilac Days, is part of a series of roses from Proven Winners. They're all entitled Rise Up. They're all climbers. And they're produced by a rose breeder in England whose name is Chris Warner. And Chris has the ability to produce some of the most unique roses that are on the market. They have a lot of cool characteristics. They're always heavily scented, beautiful colors, beautiful form, you know, things that you would want. But the thing that I think is most important that he does is he rogues out and removes every rose that has any black spot or powdery mildew. If it has problems with those, he will not release it. And that's why this rose is so bulletproof in the garden, is because he bred it to be that way. He starts with tens of thousands of seedlings. And anything that shows signs of weakness, he rogues it out. When he gets the best of the best, he puts them in a greenhouse, pumps it full of humidity, and then inoculates the roses with black spot and powdery mildew spores. Anything that succumbs, he pulls it out and throws it out. Whatever's left that's still perfect after going through all that horrible experience, those are the ones that he can then bring to market. And that's how we got the Rise Up Lilac Days and why it is so bulletproof in the garden. And I could say that even some of the roses that I planted in my garden that were said to be powdery mildew resistant, black spot resistant, have not proven to be in my Virginia garden. This one is absolutely bulletproof. You're gonna love it. So last, and probably should have been first, is the color. Blue is an impossible color in roses. It's probably the only color that's not available in a rose. I just can't seem to get a true blue rose. But these are bluish, and so they give you that beautiful lilac pink blue, and it changes depending on the light. So it's kind of an iridescent color. Let me show you this one. This will give you an idea. It's definitely in the pink family, but you can see that blue cast, and of course with the light, and as they age, they get even more blue. Let's go over here. Follow me over here. So this is one stem, and I want you to look and see the number of buds. There are hundreds and hundreds of buds on this one stem, and that's one stem of many stems on this rose bush. And again, this rose bush was 1 quart size last year. But can you imagine? I have to come back here in a week and show you what this is going to look like. But you can imagine, as this grows out and gets bigger every year, having these kinds of clusters of hundreds and hundreds of roses on one stem. What an amazing show that's going to put in the garden. And can you imagine what that's going to smell like as well? I love that color. It's kind of that medium green, glossy. And then these stems are even pretty too, I think, with the red tone, purple tone to them. And these are the new stems from this year. And you just lay those over, and then they'll sprout side branches. I'll just keep filling them in on this fence until it's completely covered all the way down. We've got them all the way down this fence, and they'll just keep filling in. But my goal is to hide the fence completely with these purple roses. Okay, so if you'd like to add this incredible rose to your garden, it's super easy to do. Just click on the link down below, which is sugarmapletradingcompany.com, and you can order it right through there. We'll ship those out to you. Every week through the summer, we're going to be offering these plants, these little 4-inch pots that are going to be so much more affordable to add to your garden. And you're not going to want to miss any of these because we're getting the coolest plants, so you're going to be super excited. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the new plant of the week.